Hello everyone, my name is Chandan and I welcome you all to my channel. I'm very excited to start a tutorial on one of the widely used test framework, TestNG. When we talk about Java with Selenium, TestNG comes automatically. We have JUnit as well, but TestNG is the latest and has more advanced features than JUnit. And yes, this would be the first video of the tutorial. So let's quickly start. Before we start, I'll just tell you about the scope of this video. Within this video, we are going to see what is TestNG, and then I'll explain you the benefits of TestNG, and then I will end the video with a demo, a quick demo, where I will show you how we can execute a test, a basic test using TestNG. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, so let's start with the first one, that is what is TestNG. So this is the definition. I have pulled this definition from the TestNG official site, okay, from the documentation tab. So I'll just read it and we will discuss on the keywords that we see in this definition. So TestNG is an open source testing framework inspired from JUnit and NUnit, but introducing some new functionality that makes it more powerful and easier to use. Okay, so if you have noticed, we have 3 to 4 keywords that we are going to talk about. Okay, so you will see the first one is the open source. Okay, we all know what is open source, and if you are new, if you have just begun your career and you are not aware of what is open source, so let me tell you that there are people who wants to generate some code, they want to write some application, and they share it for free. There are people, I mean, we can use them for free. Okay, they write some application and you can use it, and they don't charge anything for that, and you're free to make changes. Okay, in case you find some defect or in case you want some additional feature, you can just go to their repository and you can raise that. Okay, and they will it will be up to them to fix it or not. But yes, if the application is well known, then we have developers who continuously work on it, and they give on they keep on adding those new functionality fixes, fixing those defects, and they come up with a new version of that particular application. So TestNG is one of them. So they don't charge you for any of the thing that any of the feature that they give. So all the features that you have in TestNG, they are all for free. It comes with Apache 2.0 license, but you are free to use. They are not going to charge you for anything. And if you want to know in details what the license is all about, you can just Google Apache 2.0 TestNG license and you can read about it. Okay, but feel free to use it. There is no one charging you for this. Okay, and the second keyword that we see is testing framework. Okay, now when we talk about framework, what comes in our mind? Okay, so framework, okay, in plain terms, I would say if you Google, you will get the definition as a system of rules or ideas which help you to decide what to do. So if you have a certain goal and you have certain guidelines, certain rules to follow to reach to that goals. Okay, and these guidelines are the proven ones, and if you deviate from what is being written as a part of guidelines, that means you are not following the framework, then that framework will be of no use to you. Okay, so the TestNG framework is a proven concept, and if you want to use it, you have to follow what how it has been designed or asked, or it has asked you to use it. So that's the reason why we call it testing framework, because we have to abide by the rules, the guidelines that TestNG has defined. Okay, and the third one is JUnit and NUnit. So in the beginning of the call, I talked about JUnit. JUnit is also a unit test framework. NUnit is also a unit test framework. So JUnit is an old version. Okay, and it is generally used with the Java project. To Java, when we have the source code written in the source code written in Java, the application developers, they write their unit test using JUnit, and now they are moving it to TestNG. Okay, and for if the application code has been written in C# .NET technology, they go for MS Test or NUnit. NUnit is quite well known now, like the way we have TestNG for Java, NUnit is for C# project. Okay, so these are the 4 keywords. And Yeah, that is all about what is TestNG. Okay, it helps you to test your application. Okay, and the next one. Yep. TestNG is designed to cover all categories of test, that is unit, functional, end-to-end, integration, etc. So any test that you can script, okay, that you can design in using a language, Java, or C Sharp, then that is where a framework comes into picture. Okay, so TestNG is one of them, and you can use this framework to test unit test as well as functional test, end-to-end test, integration test, etc. Okay, so whenever you want to perform some test using a script, okay, then you can use TestNG, and it helps you in every phase. Like, if the developers has written their code and they want to test each of the method, then they will write unit test and functional test. Like, we do the automation, so using Selenium we perform the functional test. And if it is, you're going to test end to end, like regression testing, or even straight from login to log out, and in the middle you have a lot many things which you have tested, that is end to end testing, then you can use TestNG as well. And if there are two different entities, and you want to verify the data flowing from one entity to the other entity, that means you are just checking whether both of them have been integrated well, then we perform integration testing and we write code for that as well, and you can use TestNG to test that piece as well. Okay, so you can test anything using TestNG, provided that you are scripting it. Okay, so don't consider that you can do the testing which you perform on the UI. Okay, you cannot do that using TestNG. Okay, I mean the test which we perform manually. So when you are testing something manually, TestNG doesn't come into picture. Okay, and this is just for your information, that the creator of TestNG is credit based. Okay, since he has given it for free, I believe that we all should pay respect to him, and that's the reason why most of the videos that you see in the introduction part, you will find this person name has been mentioned. Okay, so I'm doing that as well. So creator of TestNG is credit based. I don't know if I am pronouncing his last name correctly, but in case I'm not, please correct me. You can write it in the comment box and help me fix it. And after that, TestNG. Okay, in TestNG you might see that the N and G is highlighted. This is how it is printed in the TestNG as well, in the TestNG official site as well. So this NG stands for next generation, and test is the test that we perform. Okay, so next generation test, next generation testing. Okay, and that's the reason why they have mentioned that it is inspired by JUnit and NUnit, but introducing some new functionality that makes it more powerful and easier to use. And I believe it. Okay, and I have seen that it is quite powerful and it is quite easy to use. That's why it is famous. Okay, now coming to the second one, that is the benefits of TestNG. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the first benefit that you will see while when you are using TestNG, this is what you're gonna find, that it will it has provided multiple annotations. Okay, to control execution of test methods. I mean, you want to you want to execute your test in certain order. Okay, and you just want to set it up, and in order to do that, TestNG has provided you a lot of provided you lots of annotation to achieve that. Okay, so if you're new to TestNG, don't worry about it. We are going to discuss about annotation in a separate video in details, but within this tutorial as well, I'll just give you a quick I'll use one single annotation, that is at the red test annotation, to give you what we are talking, to let you know what we are talking about. But there are multiple annotation, like before annotation, after, before method, after method, before class, before suite. So at each level of test we have before and after annotation. Okay, so I will explain more. I will we'll go deep dive more into annotation, but not right now. But if you're experienced, you have just come here to brush up your concept, then I'm pretty sure that you understand what is annotation, and how beautifully it executes your test cases, how beautifully it helps you to design your test cases. Okay, the second one is test cases can be grouped. As we all know that when we are testing within a complete phase of development. We have to do unit testing, we have to do smoke, we have to perform sanity, we have to perform integration, and we have to perform regression as well. These are the minimum testing that we perform. Okay, but say for example, we have 50 test cases, out of which 15 are part of regression test cases, and we have few like 20 test cases for our smoke, and then for integration we have 10 test cases, and so and so what you do is you can just tag them, you can mark each of the test as that particular test, and you can for tag them as tag them to a particular group. So for example, regression, out of 50, as I said that out of 50 you consider that so for example, let's go for the little more number. So let's go for 38 number of test cases. Okay, so you can mark them, you can tag them as a regression, and you can use group annotation to execute only the regression test cases. So when you use that regression tag, out of that 50 test cases, only those 38 test cases will be executed. So I will explain you, I'll show you the demo on group as well. Okay, so let's move to the next one. And test cases can be prioritized. So for example, you have 5 test cases, and out of which you decide you want some of the test cases to be executed before one of the test case. Then you can prioritize them, you can give the number that this should be the first one to be executed, and then the other one should be executed 1 2 3 4, like that, and you can even have negative numbers. So you can prioritize your test cases as well using TestNG. And if you want to run test cases parallelly rather than sequentially, TestNG provides that support as well. So say for example, you have 500 test cases, you are not going to run all of them one after the other, right? So because that will take long time, and TestNG gives you a feature where you can specify the number of threads which will decide the number of execution it has to start concurrently. Okay, so all of the number of tests, say for example the thread count is 5, that means it will pick up 5 test cases and it will trigger all the 5 test cases at once. Okay, and then the execution will be start, and the next 5 will be once the thread is done, the other test cases will be binded to that thread, and the execution will happen. So instead of running them sequentially, you can run them parallelly. That saves your time as well. Okay, and it has a support for data-driven testing with data provider. So if you have seen some test frameworks made on Selenium and Java, then you might have seen that we provide data from Excel or database, right, as our test data. But TestNG provides you a direct data provider, where you can either generate data and return the data, or you can just mention the data right in the method as well, and that method will return the data to the method that requires those data. So I will explain you this as well in the later part of the video, not this video but later videos. So we are going to check how we can group test case, how we can prioritize test case, how we can run parallelly, and how we can use data provider. So each and everything will be discussed in detail in future. Okay, and we can generate execution logs as well. So TestNG generate logs, we can enable that, and we can see in case there is a failure, then it gives you a very beautiful logs, or I would say that the logs are in detail, and you can go check the logs and you can debug the code. Okay, and you can see why the test was failed, what was the error. And if in case you need to check your script, you either fix your script, or in case you see that no, this is a valid defect, then you can raise it, discuss it with the developer, and move forward. And it produces HTML report as well. So all the test cases, what are the number of test cases that that passed or failed or skipped. There are a lot of things which you want to log, and you want to show it as a report to your manager or your colleagues. So it gives you a ready HTML report as well. And there are many third-party APIs or third-party application which uses this I would say the TestNG data they create their own HTML report as well. So you're free to choose. Either you can go for a third-party library to generate the HTML report, and if you don't want to go for any third party, then you stick to TestNG and you can use that HTML report as well. Okay. And it is supported by a variety of tools and plugins. So, more or less, all the plugins all the IDEs that we have, Eclipse, IntelliJ, etc., they all support this. Okay. So wherever you can write Java code, okay, on your system, I'm pretty sure that you can use TestNG. TestNG is available for all of them. Okay, so these are the basic ones. There are many more which I haven't listed it here, but I wanted to keep the scope to our testing, the automation, scripting, and all. So these are the things which I wanted to highlight to make it more interesting, to let you know that what we are going to discuss or what we are going to practice in the later videos. And that's the reason why you have a jumping line that saying that the list does not end here. Okay, so we have many more. Okay, because TestNG is very powerful, as we saw it in the definition of the TestNG itself. Okay, so let's move next. Okay, so time for a quick demo. So let's quickly get into Eclipse, and we will create a project, and right after that we will create a project. We'll write a small application, and then we are going to test that application. When I talk about application, you're not going to see any UI or anything. Like, it will be just few methods like addition, multiplication, division, subtraction, and we will be testing those methods using TestNG. Okay, so let's start from here. Okay, I assume that you have Eclipse on your machine. Okay, and let's go and create Java project. Okay, so let's name it as TestNG Demo. Okay, so sorry, Demo, and hit next and finish. Okay, so this will create me a basic Java Java project. And if you see, we have only one JRE system library added. So what we are going to do is, since this is a TestNG tutorial, so we are going to first of all go and add TestNG reference library. Okay, so let's go to the build part, go to configure build path, and write I have already added TestNG. Okay, but in the next video I have explained how we can add TestNG to Eclipse. Okay, so this part is out of scope of this video. Okay, but I just want to show you how we can add TestNG to our application, to our Eclipse. So on this UI, you have to click on Add Library, and you'll find TestNG here. Click on that, next, and finish. And as I'm still telling you, if in case you don't find TestNG here, then I have explained that in the next video. Okay, so you might want to go there and check the video and come back to this if you want to follow this demo. But this is just for the demo. You don't have to practice it. Okay, if you want to practice, then we are going to do that later together. Okay, so you just have to see what I'm doing. Okay, TestNG and hit next and finish. Okay, so if you see, we have two libraries added. One is a JRE system and the other one is TestNG. Hit apply, and we are going to close this. Okay, so my setup is ready. So what I'm going to do is in this src folder, I'm going to create a small package. Okay, so let's go to package, and let me write it as org.testngdemo.com. Okay, finish. So that's the package, and I'll just quickly go and create a class here, and let's name it as math class. Okay, and since this is a TestNG project, so I'm not going to use main anywhere. Okay, so let's click on finish. Okay, so it has created a main class for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will quickly add few methods like addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Okay, and then we will write test to test these methods. Okay, using TestNG. So int So let me just keep the name as addition. Okay, sorry. Okay, and okay, so the logic for addition goes here. Okay, return. That's okay. And we will. Sorry, just a minute. Yep. Okay, so the logic goes here, and it will return me. Okay, let me just return C. Okay, so let me just. I'll explain the code. And the parameter it will take is, let's go for only two numbers, so int a and int b. Okay, and I will just initialize an integer c. Okay, and this will be a plus b. Okay, so what we're doing is we are taking a and b and we are summing it up, and we are saying, the c variable is holding that value integer, and we're returning that c. So integer is the return type of this application addition. So similarly, we will have subtraction as well. Okay, and we will have multiplication, and we will have division. So let me just quickly fix this. Subtraction, and instead of plus we are going to subtract, and here will be multiply. Okay, and this will be division. Okay, so instead of plus, let's make it star, and instead of division, let's make it divide. Okay, so our our application is ready. Okay, just consider that these are the methods, and we can use these methods to perform the actions that perform some sort of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So the basic maths. Okay, so now okay, so in order to test this, I'm not going to write the methods to test these methods in this class, and that's not good practice. So what I'll do is I will quickly create a class in this package itself. So let's go for the shortcut ones, and let's go with test demo. So I'm naming the class as test demo. No main class, just finish. Okay, so now this class is added. So what I'm going to do is I hope you keep a knowledge of Java, because I cannot explain you Java here. Okay, I assume that you know Java and you are here to learn TestNG. Okay, but I will create a separate tutorial for Java as well. So just subscribe my channel to know more or to learn more if you want to see more content uh, about what we are discussing. So let's okay. So first of all, I'm sorry. Okay, within this class, we are going to create few methods. Okay, but before we do that, since we are going to use maths class, so let me just th yeah, let's keep it mth. So new math class. Okay, we are creating an object. Okay, and then we are going to create some test methods. So public void, okay, test add. Okay, and this is where we are going to test the add class, add method, and then we are going to do the same for subtraction, and then we will do division and multiplication. Okay, so separate method for all the test add, and let me just make it sub, and then test multiply and test def. Okay, so we are going to perform 4 tests, okay, against each of the methods. Okay, okay, now we are going to write the logic here. So since we have this object already created, so we will use the reference variable dot, and we are going to call in this add, we are going to call addition. Okay, and we need to provide 2 numbers, so let's go for some 6, and let's go for 4. Okay, okay, and we are going to test. Now this will give me the addition. Okay, now let's go with int, and this addition will, if you hover on it, it is going to give me an int, so we have to store it in a int variable. Okay, and we will do is assert, we are going to verify. Okay, assert dot assert equal. So if you see here, this is pulling it from TestNG assert. Okay, we have added TestNG here. Okay, so that's the reason why we are getting this list. And assert is a class which is provided by TestNG for all this assertion. And you can see that we can perform these, we can compare two values, and they can be boolean, boolean to boolean, boolean array, byte to byte. But here, since this is an integer, we want to go for the integer one. So let's go quickly, integer actual and integer expected. So just click on this and you will get the template here. So what is the actual? So the actual is C, right? So instead of actual, you put in C here, and then the expected is 6 plus 4 is 10. This is what we are expecting. Okay, and yeah, let me just do this. Similarly for subtraction, go here, and instead of addition, we are going to subtraction. Okay, so we can get rid of this. 6 minus 4 would be 2. Okay, so I believe that should work. And similarly for multiplication, we are going to have integer. Okay, so integer will be, okay, 6 into 4, 6 for 24. So let's make it 24, and we're going for this. Okay, and 6 divided by 4 is, let's make it simple, let's go with 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So okay, now our tests are ready. Okay, well, so sorry, subtraction. Okay, so we are going to multiply, I'm sorry, okay, remove this, and we are going to division. Okay, let me just get rid of this. Cool, so we are all set with, I'm so sorry, again, what is this? Let me just dot subtraction. Okay, my bad, there is an extra C there, which fine, let it be. Okay, oh man, okay, let me go and check here. Copy. Okay, let me remove it. It's better when I remove this. Okay, and copy this as it is. Go to test demo, paste it here, and that's gone. Okay, so we don't have any error, no red X or anything like, no curly line. Okay, we are cool. But now if you see that, we have all the test methods ready, but if I run this will not run my test. The reason is we don't have a main class. Okay, but TestNG does not require a main class to execute your test, right? So what is the missing thing? How are you going to link this class and tell TestNG that these are the tests that you have to perform? Okay, so we have to link that, we have to bridge that gap. So what you have to do is, for each of the tests that you have written, these tests are nothing but test methods. Always remember that when we are using TestNG to execute our test, those are actually methods. Okay, we are executing the methods, we are calling the methods, and we are executing them. Okay, so since this is a test method, we have to add here @test annotation here. Okay, so when you hover on it, you will find import test. Okay, so you have to select that, and similarly you just have to copy and add to whichever method you want to run. Okay, I'll just show you. So I want to run these three methods. I don't want to run this division as of now. Okay, so what I will do is I'll click save, and if you see, when I will run it, only these three test cases will be run. This will not be run because I haven't told, I haven't marked this case as TestNG TestNG method. Okay, so if I want this to be run along with these methods, then I will have to add this annotation, @test annotation, on this method as well. Okay, so let's quickly check. So when you want to run this test case, when you want to run this, what you have to do is just right click on this, go to run as, and click on TestNG test, and you will find it will start the test, and you can see those tests have been passed success. They have been executed and they all have been passed. So if you see the result here, default test run is 3. Okay, there is no no failure, no skip. Okay, so total test run is 3, pass is 3. Okay, why 3? I told you that only 3 methods have the @test annotation. Okay, we don't have any annotation on this method, so it won't be executed. Okay, and if you see it gives you this format as well. Okay, where you see the details of what has been added, what has been tested, sorry. So it took 0.023 seconds, 0.004 seconds, so it tells you the time as well. Okay, we'll discuss all these things in detail. Okay, so and you can see the name of the test which passed, which were executed. Okay, test add, test multiply, and test sub. Okay, and I'll just quickly add this as well as a part of this execution. Okay, and I'll show you what happens. Right click, run as TestNG. Okay, and you can see now we have 4 in the list: test add, test division, test multiply, and test sum. Okay, so all 4 of them has been added, has been executed. But if you see that it is not executed in this sequence the way it has been defined. So ideally it should be test add, test sub, test multiply, test division. This is not how it executes. Okay, in case we don't have anything like priority or anything, like what it takes is it executes the test alphabetically. Okay, so test add will be executed first, and then test div, and then we have m, and then we have s. So s is all the way down within this 4. That's why the subtraction was done at the end. Okay, so they run in alphabetical order if we don't tell them the sequence of execution. Okay, so this was all about TestNG, about explaining the TestNG as a part of demo. Okay, there is another way to execute this as well, okay, using a suite file.xml, but we will cover that in a later part of this tutorial, but not within this. Okay, so this was all about the demo. So let's see what we have next. So let me just go quickly back to the slide. So the demo is done. I hope I have explained the use of TestNG. How do we use it? And let's see about the system requirement that is needed for TestNG. Okay, so the operating system, it's a cross-platform. So that means it supports most of the operating system: Windows, Unix, Macintosh. So wherever you can have your IDE like Eclipse, you will be able to use TestNG on that machine. Okay, so we are sorted on that part. The next one is the JDK. The JDK that you require to use TestNG is 1.5 or above. Okay, so 1.5 is very old right now. What I'm using is 1.8. Okay, so make sure that you have Java installed on your machine, and you have this, the JDK that you have is above or equal to at least 1.5. Okay, you better go for the latest one, latest stable one, and take it. And the third one, which is the important one, is the set environment variable. Okay, so you have to set the Java path in your environment variable. So I'm not going to cover this as a part of this video. I may cover it later, but if you want, you can just Google it. You will find plenty of material, or in fact you can just go on YouTube or search like set environment variable for my Java. Then you will find a lot of videos there. You can refer any one of them, and you will be up and running with your system, with the setup. Okay, so this is all about the system requirement. Okay, now let's see what is next in the series. Okay, now as I told you that I have another video, this is going to be a tutorial. So this one was just the introductory part. So in the next video, we are going to see how do we install TestNG. Okay, so there are a lot of ways. A lot in the sense there are 3 ways. Okay, and I've explained all of them one after the other in detail. Okay, you can use one of them to set up your TestNG with Eclipse. Okay, so that is in the next video. Okay, so I will encourage you to watch the next video. I will leave the link in the description, and if you have any question on that, just let me know. You can write it in the comment box. I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. Okay, so And this was all about this video. Okay, I hope I have explained everything on the on the introductory level. But if you have any question on within this video, or whatever I have asked, whatever I have explained you, please write it down in the comment box. I will be more than happy to explain you or help you. If there is anything which I don't know, probably I will just search for it, I will look out for it, I will test it, and I will explain you as a part of next video or any future video that we are going to have for TestNG. Okay, so let's end this call here, and please hit like, drop a comment if you like this video, and even if you don't like the video, please let me know why, what is the missing thing, or what is the thing that I can improve on. Okay, and finally, I would request you to hit subscribe and hit the bell icon as well if you have not already done that, to get notification whenever I post a video. Till then, you have a good day, good evening, good night. Thank you.